He's wearing
he's wearing
cloak.
the evil sunglasses and the evil cloak.
And he's got a coke nail that's like 6 inches long.
Chew on that for a second on how you would have possibly tried to help that situation if you were an officer. There's no good options, I'll tell you that. You've got about a half second to make said decision and the rest of your life to possibly lose based on that decision. Hey, it's Josh and Bill. Welcome back to Only Cops. On this episode of Officers React, we're going to be taking a deep dive into Osmosis Jones. So come ride two-man with us while we do this analysis.
That's affirmative.
We're in the mouth.
Enzyme breakdown in 10. Be careful out there. You know, when I was a rookie cell, this place...
I like they had radio traffic.
Look at it now. Jeez, what a disgrace.
Look at that mustache.
Dude, hey, he's one of us.
Nice.
DNA monkey.
You got the chromosomes in all the right places.
Jones.
What? Ain't nothing a toothbrush can't
It's
handle.
Chris Rock.
It's Chris Rock. I just realized that.
Seriously.
Yo, you see this badge? You see this gun? You see this gooey white sack is membranous around my personhood?
Here we go again.
Wow.
I'm dealing with a white blood cell here. I should be out in the veins fighting disease. Not in the mouth.
Pause.
Harder control.
Helicopters do get used by police departments pretty frequently. Typically, it's not to go find people. Helicopters are actually really expensive. A lot of major cities actually share one helicopter. You'll have multiple agencies that'll kind of put their money into it, and you have to actually request a helicopter to even take off. These cost sometimes upwards of like $1,000 an hour. You have to have a trained pilot, and then you have to have an actual observer. And typically, these are used more in pursuits, or if you have a fleeing subject that there's a lot of exigency to try to detain that person. Yeah. So they wouldn't just kind of be scanning around. That's an expensive way to scan that a patrol car could easily do for you. So we'll keep playing it.
You're lucky you ain't in a scab. Uh-oh.
I love that.
Looks like you got some germs on that egg.
Baby, it's oxygen.
That's-
Probably
Why'd he put sunglasses on?
I
It's
have
dark.
no idea.
Whoever's in the city of Frank, put your hands up and surrender for digestion. Saliva 1 requesting ground support.
So are they like border patrol?
That's my guess. I mean, this isn't really a police thing. So, you can pause it real quick. So they did state their authority. It is important anytime that you're engaging with somebody that you do state your authority, but you're not just some random dude in a helicopter with a spotlight. You do have to notify whoever
If you're a
trying to-
random
yeah.
dude in a helicopter with a spotlight,
Yeah, I'm probably pretty
go ahead
scared
and hit
of
us
that.
up. 'Cause we'd like to be your
We'd
friend.
like to be your friend. But anytime you're dealing with subjects, here he specifically stated that it was private property. Any type of body, if whether it's a government body or a business body or an individual property owner, is allowed to control access of who comes in and out. There are certain rules of how you notify people of that. I know in the state of Texas, it could be as simple as a purple
ribbon on a tree.
ribbon on a tree that tells people this
With
is
a
now
certain distance
Yeah.
in between.
this is now private
ribbons.
property. Once you've entered that, we can prevent you from doing that or forcibly remove you. When you're law enforcement doing this, you do have to notify, hey, I'm law enforcement and I'm telling you that you're not supposed to be here. I'm notifying you of the crime that you're committing, and I'm telling you that I'm exerting my authority on you to do it. Clearly, they fled, so they have no intention of complying. There's actually pretty interesting that they actually used radio traffic to communicate with other units on the ground. You can't do anything from a helicopter. I'll tell you, yell at them and shine a light at them. Actual officers on the ground are the only people that can actually do anything about it. This, like he said, is more like what probably Border Patrol might be doing. But in an instance, if you knew there was break-ins in like a major theme park or in like a huge warehouse district, you might have it to where the helicopters are the ones that can see them and they'll direct ground units to that. So that's at least my experience with it.
There is no use running.
There is no use running from a helicopter.
Not from a helicopter.
Regardless of what GTA teaches you.
Germicidal maniac.
Hold. Saliva patrol.
Saliva patrol.
Son of a botulus. They swiped
Are they called
Oh,
spit?
well, okay, pause. I'm sorry if I'm like rickrolling somebody out there that has ever gotten their patrol car stolen. If you show up and you're there for 30 seconds and what occurs is your patrol car gets stolen, quit. Please, for
Yeah.
the rest of us, quit. You took people that were originally on foot and donated a patrol car. It's actually a
Now
really...
they might get away from the helicopter.
Yeah, they have a chance now. It's actually a really big deal. And again, SOPs or standard operating procedures. A lot of times when we get into foot chases, a bunch of officers arrive on scene. You'll jump out of your patrol car and just immediately start running. Typically, the last person to show up on this, if there's 3 or 4 patrol cars, their job is actually to lock said patrol cars. I've actually been on duty when as a neighboring agency had a patrol car stolen, and the problem was that there was a rifle in that patrol car. And he might not know this, but he's one button press away from now having a weapon on top of that.
Good luck figuring it out, though.
Good luck, yeah. And the other part of that is now we have a trackable vehicle that's got live GPS telling us where you are. Right now, even technology allows for them to actively see what the dash cam is seeing. They'll know how fast you're driving. They'll know direction you're going. For bad guys watching this, stealing a patrol car is a terrible idea. They're also
it's not as fun as the Joker makes it look.
Yeah, exactly. You're not weaving through Gotham singing some song. You're probably about to get every single officer within probably 50 square miles now looking for you. And if you already have a helicopter, you're being an idiot. So you keep playing it. This is now a deadly force situation.
Get it now.
I think it's
he's got a
cannon is a mouth with a tongue. I think that's their little acronym is SPIT. That's
awesome. So one of the things that you noticed is that even though deadly force was displayed to the helicopter, he didn't just immediately start hosing. He's at a pretty safe distance, but the second somebody in that instance is presenting deadly force to you, yes, technically in law enforcement, you have to wait till deadly force is exhibited on you before you do something about it. Right now, especially legally with law enforcement, deadly force is obviously it should be analyzed consistently, but like when deadly force is threatened versus used, you're going to be picked apart on. You got about a half second to make said decision and the rest of your life to possibly lose based on that decision, whether it's going to prison or actually dying. What I actually liked about this scene is it clearly shows that the suspects not only threatened deadly force, but actually used deadly force against the officers before they retaliated on that and then met force with equal force. So that was actually they used radio traffic, they used... I think an appropriate use of force there. He wasn't randomly pointing his gun at fleeing people, so it's actually a pretty good...
His spit cannon.
But I thought it was a pretty good scene, so...
This is it, men. Go, 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 go.
Pause. So to my understanding of what I remember from this movie, I believe that chick was a reporter, and I don't know what a reporter's doing telling police officers to do anything. If anything, it should be the other way around. And the reason for that is old creepy virus man.
We're going to find out.
Now, we'll keep playing the clip.
Hi, baby.
Definitely now hostage. Cool.
What are you waiting for? Shoot him.
If you follow me, she dies.
Pause. So I'm going to play this scenario for you guys. In the comments below, tell me what you think you're going to do. You have a suspect that has now taken someone hostage, threatened to kill that person, and then is about to be close to a window that they can now jump out of. What do you do if you're a police officer? Oh, wait. Your time to make that decision clear is already gone, and he's now done a suicidal by jumping out of the window. I think in this movie...
Old boy can fly.
He can fly. But in an actual situation, if that happened, you just allowed not only a suicidal subject to jump out of a window, but to take a reporter with them. So just... chew on that for a second on how you would have possibly tried to help that situation if you were an officer. There's no good options, I'll tell you that. He does fly like Batman.
This ain't no time to get cautious.
Don't worry about me. I'm 1/8 Dramamine.
I like that. I'm 1/8 Dramamine.
Just as long as it don't hit 108 degrees, or Frank's daughter's in office.
Oh, he has
So-
a fever.
So,
Nice.
another felony.
Another mustache.
And another mustache. Oh, he's hot-rodded this thing. And that's why you don't block traffic with your patrol car.
Oh, don't worry about Shane.
Oh, this is Bill Murray now. I guess having a struggle. Well, there's a struggle in his body.
Bro, he's fever's rising, dude.
We have a hostage situation involving the mayor's aide.
The mayor's aide.
Okay, so pause.
That's why she's telling them what to do. They're probably like her
I guess.
staff,
Yeah.
security staff, whatever.
So, if you're going what we would call code 3, which is lights and sirens, there's like code, which is typically just lights, and then I don't know if anyone has code 2, but code 3 would be typical lights and sirens. You're doing that because you're breaking traffic law, and you're obviously doing that because you have to be in a hurry to go get somewhere.
And you want people to see you.
I didn't see lights, and I did not hear a siren on their car. It's a big no-no. A, because nobody knows to get out of your way. You're actually creating more of a hazard on that. Texas specifically says that officers have to use due regard. when-going code, and that basically means the only limitation is you just have to know that you can do it safely. I've personally driven a patrol car over 140 miles per hour to catch somebody, or to catch up to somebody. And I did it with due regard. Clearly, I'm still here, and nobody got hurt from it, which is a good thing. But you're not allowed to just chase people by driving fast. You can't just drive fast because you're a cop. And if you're doing that, you're the problem. So keep playing it.
To a high-speed chase in a superior Vina Cava expressway.
The media will watch you do it.
They have lights.
They have lights. Osmosis Jones does not have lights.
Well, what's he in?
I don't know what he's in. This is why you use due regard.
Wow, that's quite the accident.
No lights, no sound. As I keep telling you, he's driving like a maniac.
I think that's another cliche cop thing. Is like the plainclothes cop driving his personal car just anywhere and everywhere he wants to go.
I also want to point out that they said over the radio where this suspect was going, and they said the uvula, and him clearly not being the great cop said, "Oh yeah, the dangly thing? Oh, I know where that's at," and decided to go to his shorts instead of his throat, and was immediately driving the wrong direction. Orientation is actually one of the biggest things that most officers... I struggled with this when I was a rookie. And if there's an emergency that's happening right then and there, the only thing you might get is the Walmart on this street. And if you're driving, you're like a mile away from that, you have to immediately know which Walmart they're talking about and how to get there without looking at a map, because you're going to have to drive 100 miles per hour to go get there. Orientation is a big thing that a lot of people that are interested in law enforcement don't realize you have to do. And there's a lot of multitasking involved in that. The more you have to multitask while driving a car fast, the more likely you are to get in an accident. So orientation and understanding your beat and understanding your place is kind of important. He exhibited the problem with not knowing that, and that he's clearly driving in the wrong direction and is not helping anyone, except for being a jerk driving without lights and sirens. Go ahead and play it.
You just cost me 20. Money ain't gonna be your biggest problem if you don't tell me what you know about the sinuses. Hey, I was injected into this body to rat on influenza.
He's trying to pressure a CI.
It's a handgun.
Yeah. Well, that's if I hit with an actual handgun. He's now grabbing people.
We would be very interested to hear about your flu shot work.
You can't jack me on that, brother. I'm in the virus protection program. Hey, what?
So
he's definitely the federal agency.
110%. 110%.
Force only.
So CI, which would be considered a confidential informant, there are times where law enforcement will have contacts within the community that are non-sworn staff. They're not even paid by the department. These are people that tend to be involved in the criminal element.
CIs get paid.
Or a lot of times they'll get paid in some way, shape, or form. But like threatening a CI is probably not the way to get them to cooperate with your investigation or to give you information. And a lot of times, there's obviously a lot of studies with interrogation in general that threatening and harming someone while you're interrogating them doesn't actually give you good information. And in America, that's illegal. So you can't do a lot of these things, especially within the confines of the Constitution. And then detaining somebody by putting a gun in their mouth is also not kosher.
It's his arm.
It's his arm.
It's fair.
Putting your arm in someone's mouth to detain them, if you're not...
Also not super kosher, but trying to give them a little leeway here.
You are only allowed to detain somebody, which detain just means keeping them there. You can physically keep them in a place to question them if they're committing some sort of crime, or you have reasonable suspicion to believe that they are committing some sort of crime. Once you realize they're not, it's kind of gone. And without PC, anything that you're doing after that's a violation of their constitutional rights. So,
I believe children's strength ought to take care of you.
Uh-oh, you done it now, kid. This guy's a psychopath. You had your chances, Philip, but it's too late. This guy just got off the Thorazine. Now he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. He's going El Pollo Loco on your crazy behind.
That's a good cop, bad cop.
that's the good cop, bad cop. A really...
Guy's big time.
Oh.
Hey, it worked.
It worked.
The zit on the forehead. You can't miss it. It's huge.
It worked. I don't know if I would necessarily say that level of force works, but
So
there is something to be said with building rapport with someone while your partner is being a jerk.
So there's a pretty big misconception with the idea of good cop, bad cop being a way to interview somebody. Typically, they look at it this way. There's the guy that's crazy off the hinge and ready to kill you or hurt you or maim you, and there's like the reasonable guy to go talk to. That's typically not how that works. You have somebody that clearly can't establish rapport and someone that can or is able to establish rapport. Your interaction with the community is going to be predicated on trust, whether that's the criminal element or not. If they trust that they're going to get some sort of procedural justice with you, they're less likely to resist, they're more likely to cooperate, and you're more likely to have to deal with them without utilizing force. In this instance, clearly, they didn't understand de-escalation or building rapport, none of that, so force was used, and regardless of what police outcome comes, I don't care if they save a hospital, they've completely violated this person's constitutional rights and completely violated the trust with that person in law enforcement. They're probably not going to be very helpful in the future. So don't do that. Especially he needs to go poop out Mr. Pillboy here or finish metabolizing him because he is off the rails. Bro, he's got a jetpack.
He is a jetpack.
A sticky grenade launcher?
I'm jealous of that.
This is incredible. Okay, pause this. That's pretty wild that he jumps in with the jetpack and starts blasting away at a dam that's breaking. This is where firefighters become our heroes, because if there's a natural disaster, I try not to get hurt. Most police officers' job during a natural disaster is to be available to help people after the disaster has become.
And to maintain the peace.
Osmosis Jones standing on top of this thing is not doing a good job of being present after the disaster, but we'll keep playing the clip. Yeah, boys, he's still there.
Oh, is that like pus?
I think it's like a mucous membrane. Pause. Huge pause. There's a natural disaster, maybe. He doesn't know what's going on, clearly.
What if that guy caused that?
Oh, I'm with you. I'm about it. But it's a what if the guy caused that, not he's causing this actively.
This is just a clip.
Either way, if you
that dude could have planted a little bomb down there at the bottom.
110%, but pointing a gun at said person isn't going to help you at all. I think this is another of Hollywood being in love with cops solve problems with guns. But we never know. We'll say this is a happiness sender as opposed to a firearm. We're gonna see how he.
I'm gonna say that dude just caused all that mayhem.
We're gonna go. We didn't see the beginning.
You telling me that's not a bad guy? He's wearing.
He's wearing the evil sunglasses and the evil cloak.
And he's got a coke nail that's like 6 inches long.
If this is possibly, again, somebody causing a natural disaster and things like that, I do think that you could see where maybe if they're blowing up a dam, that you'd want to use some force to try to maintain or detain these people.
He's trying to kill Bill Murray, okay?
Which would be a travesty.
It's an American gem.
Out of context, if it wasn't him trying to save Bill Murray, I don't know that you're drawing down on a vehicle that's running away from you. You really can't use a firearm to detain a vehicle. If the vehicle's coming at you, that's different. But typically in SOPs...
A vehicle? What are you talking about?
They drove off in a car.
Bro, he flew away.
No. There's guys before him that he drew the gun on. And then, I guess, Super Mr. Evil, obvious evil guy, I guess, flew away. Maybe he's the flu. I don't know. It's not a super effective way to detain somebody that's like 100 yards away from you, but technically under certain circumstances, detaining somebody at gunpoint can be a thing, especially if it's going to cause the death of Bill Murray.
That's it.
On this one, I think you still have again, it's a cartoon. I don't know if this specifically applies. He's in plain clothes. He might have the authority of law enforcement, but I don't think this is Osmosis Jones.
He has a badge, dude.
He's got a badge and a gun. I mean, that's as close a relationship to law enforcement that I could probably see there. But a lot of bad tactics. There's a lot of trampling on people's constitutional rights.
It's just a cliche version of.
I think the potentially damaging aspect of cliches like this that are reinforced not just in film but in children's films is that you have a lot of instances where kids believe that this is what law enforcement looks like, or this is what policing looks like. And the more often you see these things, any stereotype is a bad stereotype. Heck, even the CI fit a certain stereotype of being this poor guy with a golden tooth and all those things.
Well, the stereotypes are running pretty rampant.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm getting at. They make him cartoonishly evil guy, cartoonishly impoverished CI, and cartoonishly over the top cops. Again, good cop, bad cop. Is that these tropes? I guess what you could call them in the storytelling world can be very damaging, because these tropes do eventually bleed into reality where people have bad expectations for what law enforcement should be or is. And then obviously from a law enforcement standpoint, you're working on an uphill battle to try to win back the confidence of the public that normally never interacts. This is most people's interaction with law enforcement until they actually have to have them. So bad on you for Osmosis Jones. You're gonna give that a big solid F too. Thank you for writing. Yeah, thank you for writing 2-Man with us on our look at Osmosis Jones. And we can't again give us suggestions for the clips you want us to do, and we'll see you next time.